Hello and welcome. My name's Brandee, Sage of the Fae Folk. I'm a tarot reader, artist, and writer, and today I've got a Lunar New Year reading for you. It just seemed like a really good time for a check-in reading. I've pulled oracle cards already for each of the 12 signs, and then in each of the groups I'll pull from tarot cards. In these readings, we'll do a general check-in, and we'll see what goals you should be keeping up with. And this reading is for my water signs. So if you're Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, this reading's for you. I've got a little intro reading for you for how you'll know this reading's for you and what you can expect to get out of it. I'll see you over in those readings.
It would be so nice if something would make sense for a change.
What's your name? Brandee. With 2 E's.
I had a world of my own. Everything would be nonsense.
I'm going to pull us a couple cards just as like a general of what to look for in this reading and how you know it's for you. I'm putting this out with the intention that the signs will be for your sun, moon, and rising sign. They'll remind me if I need it. So many cups already. Okay. So it seems like the general themes across this collective with the people who find this video that you will find. So it's probably touching on all 12 of these, but obviously the specifics will be different and even different from inside the pile because I can't know everything. Okay. A lot of cups energy. And then this is what we're setting aside. Okay, I get it. So this is the thing that you're picking up this year. It seems like the main thing is care for yourself, starting from yourself. It seems like you've probably been someone whose call out is starting early. You've probably been someone who has almost relied on other people to like have a routine. Like maybe you calling myself out too. Wow. Like maybe you wait for other people to make a plan with you rather than just going and doing the thing that you want. This is changing. This 9 of Cups upright is really about like personal fulfillment, wish fulfillment, and like going. It's like a manifestation card. And this achievement and luxury is on this. But there's always, for me, an element of solitude in this card. In the traditional like Pamela Coleman Smith illustration, it's like person alone with their 9 cups. And that's different than the 10 of Cups, which offers a loving community. These are both like very happy places to be. This 10 of Cups includes like family, it includes the group. And so this is what's reversed right now. So it's not saying that you can't have family, that you have to do it all alone, but it does have to be your thing. It does have to be your way, especially right this minute. And I think especially since so much of this is about like what's your plan going forward? What are you doing? What are your goals? Like that's what a lot of the intention into this reading is. You can't base that on what other people want for you. This is that 10 of Swords reversed. We're setting down the perspectives of other people. We're setting down the busy work given to us by other people. And that takes a hard shift. So I think a lot of these individual readings will be about the details of how to set down, how to like not care what other people think in a way that you can just move freely with your things. I like that a lot. What's on the bottom of the deck? 10 of Wands. 10, 10, 10. Releasing burdens is another big thing. And all of these 10s want to come out reversed. There's something about like redefinitions that always comes out when I'm talking about 10s reversed. And that is a lot of what we've been talking about, right? Is like how can you define this on your terms? What does success mean to you? Like you can't know if you're successful if you don't know what successful means. And so I think this is a call to really come back to those definitions, especially on how you define it. It can be someone else's definition if it's like something that you also think is true. Yeah, it looks like you've got a big, like, logician, like logic person stuck in your head that's always like, well, is that true or is that just the way I feel? Both. Like, this is definitely a call to nuance rather than locking yourself in to either other people's perspective, where you sit with other people, your place in the group. Like, a lot of those things seem to be things that are fading out, and what's coming back is what you want to do. I'm really drawn to Dreamer on this card. And I think a lot of people read kind of like a bitchy attitude onto the Queen of Cups, which is like deserved a lot of the time. But I think people forget that it's an emotional card still. Like, this is peak emotions. This is being so in tune with your emotions that you know to stay regulated. This is like taking care of yourself from the top down. This is the kind of like taking care of yourself that, like, you brush your teeth because it feels gross when you don't, not because you should be brushing your teeth. If that difference makes sense. So, okay. I think those are some really good themes. They really, really want me to pull with this Lord of the Rings deck before I get into the middle of it. So, 1 second. Let me see what this deck has to say. And yeah, if you want to skip over to your parts, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to either put timestamps in the doobly-doo, or I'm going to separate the video. I've not tried it, so I don't know how hard it is. Seven of Pentacles reversed and Six of Pentacles reversed. We got a lot of reversals in this first. Oh, okay. And when I get a lot of reversals, I do feel like there's like perspective warping going on, which is a very abstract way to say it looks like you've been depressed. And I think depression comes with depression goggles, things that color it darker than things actually are. It's really easy when you're depressed to think that there's no hope out there for you, to think that there's no way forward, and that no one could know how to get out of this situation. And this sun is all about optimism and positivity and consciousness, and I really think it's coming in to say there's a different way. There's a different way than going through this darkness. There's a different way than this world where everyone takes from you. In this world where it's everyone's 6, 7, 8 reversed too. You know, like, Six of Pentacles reversed I'd read as like unfairness, like people not knowing when to give but also not knowing when to take, and the opposite of that. So like people taking too much from you, people expecting too much from you. That's this card reversed. The Seven of Pentacles reversed is like, I've never had a plan. What do you mean how should I what do you mean how should I plan? There's no plan. There's never been a plan. I don't I just got the Friends you have a plan? I don't even have a plan. Like, it's no plan. And then Eight of Pentacles is like, but there is infinite tasks from everyone else. So this is really a burnout cycle, if I'm being honest, because it's like there's no plan, but people want me to be places. So if I just take care of other people, that should get me somewhere. But it comes back around to this unfairness. It comes back around to, like, I've been giving myself up. There's too much of myself being drained, and it just keeps going. And so this King of Rings reversed Rings or Pentacles, is really like you never had control. You never could have control. But I always read that the energy of up and down is always there, which means that the control is there for you. The stability, the assuredness is right there. But you just have to start by taking care of yourself, and that'll lead to these bigger processes. So I definitely think there will be a little bit on like how to maintain optimism. What's the most easeful path forward will probably be one of the questions that I focus on. Oops, sorry if that made a noise. So yeah, I hope this sounds exciting to you, and that I'll see you in your groups. All right, hello Pisces. Thanks for being here. So yeah, so what I'll do first, I've got 3 different questions, but we'll start with a general what's going on kind of preface before we jump into the questions. The last one, it just bled perfectly over. It was cool. There's 444 on my clock right now. And if I didn't say this before, these are meant for your sun, moon, or rising signs. So Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. So this is for. What's going on? And if you prefer these without the shuffles, I'm editing them down for TikTok. So you can follow me over there. I like to leave it for people who need to see it come out randomly. Right. That was cool. And the card that went right in place is the Justice card. That's very cool. So Justice card is all about karma, but also balance. And a thing that happens a lot when I see the Justice card is I see people who like are really looking for comeuppance. They want the person who hurt them to pay. And like there's room for that. There's like a time when you need to feel that. However, it does keep a lot of your energy on the person who hurt you instead of on you. And person, thing, idea, whatever it is. And it looks like you've been healing that spot. You've been healing whatever happened that like hurt you, that took your confidence from you, the unfairness that happened, that you've been waiting. When will it be fair again? You've been working on healing that spot, which is tough, especially when you keep feeling like things aren't fair. There's this interesting, like, I'm gonna keep my mouth zipped about it. We might have a lot of people who have Aquarius and Pisces in their big 3 because that was a big thing. This specific 7 swords and King of Swords reverse was a big thing in the Aquarius readings. That'd be interesting to me to see. So leave it in the comments if you do have those 2. It seems like a thing that you're itching to share lately is your ideas. I think in all of the, I'm going to say obsessing that you have a tendency to do, especially when things are going wrong, you end up on these really cool conclusions that are like sometimes about what's going on, but sometimes they're just about like life and how things should go. Sorry, I was checking my microphone. And it seems like you have a lot of passion for that like research, for that digging. And so if you're feeling disconnected from people, it seems like you're around people who don't value the same information that you value. You're around people who like you can't share these rabbit holes with. The Alice is fun. Who you can't share these like internet rabbit holes with. Um, and so it ends up feeling sneaky for you to like learn things because you feel like it's a whole world that no one knows about, and it's changing you because knowledge will change you. But whatever zapped your confidence, that really seems to be getting in the way. So I see why there's been an effort to heal it. This is all really interesting. And what it's basically bringing you to is that this year there's going to be a lot of choices. Because you're wanting things to be different. And you can't want them to be different and hold on to them being the same. So it looks like you're in for a lot of change. It all seems to be going the direction like towards fairness, towards balancing things out. The Pentacles too. But I definitely feel like there's, like I said, a lot of learning, a lot of like, you might be a writer, or maybe you're getting back into writing or something secretly. Well, we'll see on what goals you should be setting. If we get more swords out, that'll be more. So, okay, so the questions that we're going to go over is like, what's the most easeful path forward? Very relevant, I think, from here. From there, we'll go into like what goals you should have, and we'll try and get some practicalities out. So they're usually pretty emotional, but we'll see. And then we'll switch to my last deck and just ask generally, how are you doing according to your spirit team? Are you like on track for where you should be? Is this like the problems you should be solving? We'll get into that. And then at the very end, I've already pulled some oracle cards for each sign. And so we'll just do a bit of reading from the book on those ones. Yeah, okay. So I think what's the most easeful path forward? This is already starting to come out a little bit because I think you've been really like out of necessity doing that already. Like you can't do anything about the pain that happened. You can't do anything about there's something about like not having a seat at the table, like not getting the chance to. Because look, she's reaching for the cups on the table, right? Like the spilled cups. And then she's on top of the table, fighting away the things. This is kind of feeling like this side of you just wants to be at the table. This side of you just wants these cups back. Whatever happened, the loss, the grief, the pain, want it back. But that's reversed. So it seems like you've been coming to peace. That seems like a whole grieving process that's been happening. Seven of Wands reversed. Like I said, that's confidence lost. That's like feeling like you're just like getting beat into the ground when that's reversed. But what it really means is you've got more spiritual strength than you're using. Because it's all been tied up in protection. So what we're seeing already is like the fight's over. Nobody's attacking you anymore. So that's really good progress. But it does mean that it changes your goals and you can't be in defense mode all the time. You'll probably need to create more. Probably need to lead a little more. Okay, yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, what's the most easeful path forward for my Pisces? That's the Seven of Wands reversed again. So that's interesting. It doesn't feel like it. I know it doesn't. I'd be surprised. But anyway, the most easeful path forward is actually reclaiming that confidence. I don't think that's what you want. I think there's a like big piece of you that kind of just wants to disappear in this and not be a part of it. Not you're like they don't want me, I just won't be here. I think you're probably someone, I mean, you've definitely got a people pleaser streak in you. And so success from that space is going to look like a little bit of selfishness. Like, it's change you're after. What I kind of see from you is a fed up attitude coming out. And I think your brain has probably attached it to like a nuclear option. Like if if I don't care, that's like the end of the world. But I think there's been a redirection of your energy happening, a redirection of like what caring even means. And I can definitely see, like, you've seen the prison bars for what they are. You've seen the ways that you've trapped yourself, the way you've been trapped by other people, probably the ways that you've like been complicit in being trapped, that maybe you fed into it sometimes. All of that. It's like, no more, we're done, we're done. This tower reversed, the tower upright, I like to describe like Django. If you watch me a lot, you'll probably hear it a lot, but I just think it's a good metaphor because the tower is always going to fall. It's not built well. It's just a matter of when and on who. So the tower reverse is one of my favorite ways to see it because I interpret that as, rather than change happening to you, structural change, shaking things up, it's scary. This is someone who knows it's going to be scary. They know they're going to have to change things. You've seen the face of your terror. Very interesting way for that to come out. Yeah, you've seen the face of your terror, and so it's like, well, I won't be stuck here anymore then. Very fed up. And that's an energy to embrace, to make this easier. That's a spiritual authority, for real. Like, that's what that is. And it looks like the part you maybe are setting down is like that you're on the same page with other people. I think that's been really important to you before. Like, especially if you've got people pleaser tendencies, of course, because it's like you have to have people to please. And so you're probably seeing like less people around. You're probably feeling a little lonely. And at the same time, it seems like you've been waiting for some time alone. Like, don't freak out that you've been lonely when it's like all you've been wanting is to be alone, is to not have to worry about what they're dealing with, to have your own problems back in your hands. That's what it feels like you've been waiting for, that is coming in. So don't be surprised if it's a little lonely. You're the only way that can do it the way you need to do it. So yeah, with that, let's get into the goals. That's an interesting way to find ease, but that's where you're at. Seems like, if this is resonating. Okay. What goals should my Pisces have? Seems like one of your goals is to care about money less. So that's either like a specific level of security that you don't feel like you need anymore. But I think it's larger than that. It feels more like a general mentality that you're not gonna let money control your actions. You're not gonna let money be one of the things getting you down. Oh, like in that very first part when I was like, if you're thinking about how they hurt you and how it's unfair, you've still got them on the mind. You've got that kind of relationship with money. Like, it's been a toxic relationship and now you just want to not have to think about them anymore. And that's a good goal. Yeah, I've there's a different reader, like a palm reader that I know, that will ask a lot of people in readings, like, if you take money off the table, what do you specifically need and want to be happy? What do you need, like, to survive? Take money off the table and make that list. I think that would be a really good place to start for this goal. What are the things that keep you going? What are the things that help you feel alive? It definitely seems like exploration is a big part of that. It does also look like balanced exploration seems to be a big part of it. So this really doesn't feel like you're just going to go on a big spending spree. You're wanting to make life better for yourself, and so that includes probably some amount of savings. But it seems like you're probably lowering that in importance and instead taking the experience side of it as the thing you can control rather than the money side of it. I like that one a lot. Next goal, and just take these as they work. Like, if they're adaptable. Oh, cute. That was a good clarification. You want to be more romantic with yourself. When I was in the Aquarius reading, we were talking a lot about like making sure your goals are measurable. that doesn't really seem to be coming up in this one, because I actually think a lot of your goals are like trying to measure less, trying to get out of the analyzing, trying to get into the feeling side of it. And so being romantic towards yourself, loving the things you do, um, like romanticizing and like making your life aesthetic seems like a big thing that you maybe want to take on. So like start with art you like. Um, I really like to treat my home like an art installation that I'm always adding and changing to. Um, but that includes more like decorative pieces than other people use in their home design. You might want to do something like that, like bringing art or music in, bringing like spaces to feel or to sense like exploration and play was a good thing. Maybe I'm kind of picturing like a big window seat where you can like knit or draw or read, get some like sun. That'd be cute. Um, I also think this would work well, like if you are partnered up, that like give yourself the things that you're waiting for your partner to give you. Yeah, cue the Miley Cyrus. um, but legitimately, like if you're waiting for flowers, it's time to go get yourself some flowers. If like what you really need is chocolate, don't wait for someone to get it for you. It's okay to just go take care of your needs. And it seems like one of those needs is this poetic side of yourself, this need to like be extra. But you keep getting stopped in like what that means for the other person, what that like, or if they don't meet you there, it's devastating because we just wanted to be seen, loved. So yeah, I think it's really time to starting with yourself. In those moments especially. It's like, oh, I have a lot of love to give right now. Give it to yourself. Um I think that's felt lonely in the past. I don't think it'll feel lonely right now. I with what you've got coming out, I think it'll actually feel really peaceful. And help that like easeful transition that we were talking about. Let's do one more goal. Yeah, your motto really seems to be I'm not going to wait for it. And I think especially letting yourself say how you feel when you're feeling it. I think a lot of the problems that you've had with people are that like the feelings are lagging way behind where the actions are. And so you end up like relitigating stuff that you're not even dealing with. um and I'll say a lot of that, like it's a two-way street for a lot of it, right? Your side of it really seems to be that you've gotten a habit of waiting for the other person to speak up, waiting for them to make it a thing so that you know to address it when you already knew to address it because you wanted to say something. But then you never get the satisfaction of having said something, of getting something off your chest because you're always waiting for them to let you. Um, Seems like one of your goals could be, if you want, uh, stop waiting. I would say even like treating your emotions like it's a process, like it's not going to be definitive. like, this is how I feel right now. It might change. This is what I'm thinking right now, but leaving the room for it to change, but letting yourself get it out, not waiting to say it. That could also even be like, because this is seeming very dramatic and like you want to get a lot going your way, but that like romance again, I would say even the nice things. You don't need to wait to express that you have feelings for something or for someone. They're your feelings. You get to say them when you want. Like, yeah, like it changes things. Your relationships are gonna change. Um, but the only way they'll change in directions that you want is to start having a say. Start speaking up. Success on the bottom of the deck, 6 of Wands. Like, this is success. It's the way to your success. Speaking what you want. Disentangling yourself from money actually seems like it's also going to help you be successful. I think especially because a big like component of what is successful to you is having a well-balanced life, and it seems like you've probably had both of the extremes in there where maybe you've worked way too hard or you've just like not worked at all. And so finding that middle ground looks to be something that you're looking for. And so speaking your mind and then loving the hell out of yourself really seem to aid that goal of like, I'm going to switch my priorities to the things that I actually value. I would say all of these feel very coherent together, like they feel like sub points of a goal, which is just telling me that you've thought a lot about this. This is should not be new to you. Feels like I'm probably just reiterating the stuff that you've learned already. So yeah, those are what the cards think your goals should be. With this last deck, we'll look into how you're doing generally from your spirit team. I'm gonna try not to cry over this one. You're doing a great job. They've got only nice things to say. It seems like one of the big things that like of like the steps you're on right now is not knowing where you're going. I think to you that's felt like a flaw. Like, you don't know where you're going, you should know. Your guides are really coming in to say that this step was the surrender. This step is the mystery. This step is not knowing. and holding tight to the beauty anyway. And you've been doing an excellent job of that. It seems like, especially, you've been learning how to, like I was saying, one of the goals was to really like not wait for what you have to say. Seems like one of the goals you had before that one was knowing what things to say to people and what things to hold back. It seems like now you know which things to say, it just takes you a minute to say it. And so that's like this goal evolved. And so you're really being congratulated on, like, hey, you've really paid attention to the things that like you're feeling enough to know what you want to say. So even though I know you already have this goal of saying it quicker, take a minute to thank yourself for taking care of this step. And again, the like Wheel of Fortune reversed is in a similar place where it's like you had to get to the Wheel of Fortune first to be able to reverse it. Like you're already a powerful, in charge, emotionally mature, stable person. You're already that person. King of Cups. You are already there. You're already someone who can bring fortune in. You're already an intuitive person who can like see the way forward. It's just that the way forward for a really long time has been don't move. Don't do anything. Just rest. Seems like it was a big thing of it. Rest and explore. Rest and explore. And now that rest and explore is evolving into these are the things I like to explore. These are the things I can continue to explore. And I know to rest now. So yeah, you're doing great. You're right on track. Right where you need to be. I don't know that I can add any more to that part. So let's go into those oracle cards. Okay. This part will include a little bit of reading, but I'll put the pictures on the screen, so if you prefer to just pause and read it yourself, you're welcome to. This one is share. To help you make progress, it's a good idea to share what you have and what you care about. And this deck is all about living a creative life. But there was a lot of like creativity through that we were talking about. Okay. The share card is an indication that at this point you should let someone know how you feel and what's going on with the situation in question. Your best interest would be served by sharing the challenge that you face with either one person or a collection of people who have the ability to give you advice based on solid principles and experience. That's that, knowing what to share with who and when to stay quiet. That's that. Depending on your situation, this card can indicate you should share your glory or your reward. That should you share your glory or reward, you might receive. Sorry. Depending on the situation, this card can indicate you should share your glory or other reward you might receive for a creative project. Sharing, right? I don't know why that sentence was so hard for me. I'm sorry. This is for those who are using their creativity to formulate an idea or a financial entity in which investment is possible. If that's the case, it is time to offer shares of your creation to those who with resources to invest. So that makes me feel like a lot of the creative ideas you're having are probably like actionable creative ideas. And so you're needing to be in your own energy so you can put like the plan into action. That's very exciting. So sharing really seems to be a big. And we've got wall. This is the Literary Witches Oracle. It has witches and witches materials. And they've got 3 keywords for each. Words or phrases. Protections, obstacles, and boundaries. The very first thing that came out was you are protected. The other thing is it seems like again your lesson learning has evolved. I think before you were getting a lot of messages for you should put up boundaries. This will be, you know what your boundaries are, so you can share outside of them. Yeah. There's a difference between protection and defensiveness. Ouroboros. Lovely. This deck is Auspicious Symbols, and they give just lucky symbols from a bunch of different traditions. So today we've got Ouroboros, snake eating its own tail. Popular in Greek philosophy, and yeah, represents like birth, death, rebirth cycles. Ouroboros has emerged now as a messenger of rebirth and renewal. Their species have a unique process that includes shedding and regenerating their own skin. By way of this message, you are being reminded that you have the same opportunity for renewal. If you have been stuck in a situation that feels stale or unsupportive, it may be time to shed the old habitual patterns, negative thoughts, and behaviors. This could be physical shedding of relationships or a review of shadow aspects of yourself that need integration. It may indicate that limiting thoughts about what is possible or what isn't may need to be shed as well. Each season we have an opportune time to refresh, reevaluate, and reorganize your energy. Very New Year kind of processing. Ultimately, the symbol is to show you that you are an infinite being. Use this message to reclaim your sense of wholeness and begin the new phase now. And yeah, that might be right now for some of you. Okay, cool. I don't think I have very much to add to those ones. They were so on the nose. You know, circles seem really relevant, right? With these two. And even sharing. And the thing that's really coming out is like what goes around comes around, right? And I do think a lot of I think you've been waiting for the kindness to come back around to you for a long time. You've been waiting for the niceties to come back around to you for a long time. And so I think it's about time that you start giving those things to yourself like you deserve it, because you do. And just kind of see what happens, see what changes, see what happens. Like you have this like fear that if you start giving to yourself, people will leave. People won't care about you. People won't have any need for you. The only way you're going to know that is by seeing. And you'll be able to see it before, like, there's a complete process between where you're at now and someone leaving because you're too selfish. Take one step that direction and just see if it's helpful. At any point in there when it's like, oh, I found a good balance, or oh, that was a step too far, you can still make the adjustment. I want you to get out of the idea that this is final, that anything is final, because you're in a lot of rebirth cycles right now. Nothing's final. Nothing has to be. And so play around with what feels right, because it's in that playing that you're actually going to find your answers. I hope this helps. So now it's time for our Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. Microphone's on. Okay, so with this first deck, what we'll get out is just a general how you're doing before we jump into more specifics. And so we'll get like what cycles you're on, what patterns have been happening, what's likely where your emotions landing. Cool. Okay, 2 more cards. And if you prefer to watch these without the shuffles, I edit them down and put them on my TikTok, so you can find them over there. One more card, please. 3 of Pentacles reversed. Okay. Interestingly enough, no 7 of Swords for you either. That's been a common card, but you do have 2 other 7s, so I think that's interesting. And for whatever reason, we're talking about moving from a 7-year to an 8-year. So 2023, the 2 plus 3 plus 2, 7. So 2024 is an 8-year. And so that shift, oh, it's 444 on the clock there too. Ooh, numbers. That switch for you is moving you into a space where you're kind of just feeling it out into a more channeled direction. And to get to that direction, it seems like you're needing to have a lot of time alone. And that's naturally bringing up a lot of like what other people think about you. And I think you've worked particularly hard to convince people that you're like a good collaborator. That's been really important to you, to like show up in a helpful way for people. And so doing things more on your own might end up looking to other people like you're not being helpful anymore. You're not being the same kind of responsive to their needs like you were. This Page of Swords reversed is interesting, so I'm going to get a clarifier for that. Justice. Sure. Where to put it? Oh. It seems like you've been working on your self-talk. That maybe you were speaking a lot of like, nothing ever works out for me, I don't know what I'm doing. Other people know me better than I know me. Maybe some of these things you've been saying to yourself. And so it seems like you're coming in with that like correction attitude, like you're gonna get clear about what you're doing for you. Which yeah, it's like is a specific direction, it looks like. One that you've probably felt confident enough to go down for a while. But you've just been busy taking care of other people. You've been busy stabilizing. Getting that foundation strong is what you've been busy doing. And so these like other possibilities have seemed like impossibilities because all your energy is going to everyone else. All your energy is going to fixing things. And so now you're coming in with this new idea of like, maybe I need some time alone. But that's not your natural way, or hasn't been. So yeah, I think that Queen of Cups is really interesting there. You know, she's coming in to say, like, you're more ready for the trouble of like putting yourself first than you think you are. Especially because I don't think there will be that much resistance really from the people around you. There might be a little bit where, yeah, we've got Nine of Cups on the bottom of the deck. I think it's clear to other people that you are doing this out of care for yourself. It's probably even that the people you were helping have been waiting for you to take care of yourself. And yeah, they'll take your help because you're a really good helper, but they also would rather you take care of you. And so I think the resistance will be more like habitual, like behavior changing, than actual like the Five of Swords would be about conflict. And then that's not out. Like there are cards that would tell us if this were gonna go poorly. But I think instead what's happening is you just finding this confidence. And so you might have to bat away things. You might have to bat away like, oh, I can't show up for you the way I used to. You can change. You're welcome to change. It's almost the way that it's coming out. And that kind of change is what will actually secure your foundation. You need a minute to sort through some choices, open some doors and see what's there. But it's been really hard to know what's going on in your head when you're constantly dealing with everyone else's stuff. So I think this hermit mode, this like draw inward, is just fair. So that seems to be your general vibe at the minute. What's going on? Very interesting. And so we'll get into with this next deck. With all of that, what's the most easeful path forward? There are a lot of things you want. You deserve to go for them. What's the most easeful path forward? For my Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. They don't want another shuffle. And now we get the Five of Swords. That's a... Every question I keep having keeps getting immediately answered. Because, like I said, that Five of Swords is about fighting. And this is reversed. And so it really seems like putting, like laying the arms down, like not, like choosing not to fight anymore. And it was like, well, that seems a little off for someone who's needing to speak that they need time alone. And so there's this very clear clarification is, yeah, you're setting down the swords and leaving. So there's no room for a fight. You're coming in with the boundary set for yourself so you know when to get out. Oh, and the Ace of Swords. Okay. And we got the Ace of Swords, Five of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, Chariot reversed. So, it definitely looks like you're walking away from certain spaces that haven't been good for you. Some spaces that continually take from you, even when you try and set up boundaries. And so it seems like you've been getting really comfortable letting yourself just be a mystery to these people, just not over giving, like I think is your love language. Over giving, being abundantly available is a love language that you use. And so putting that attention on yourself for, like I said, certain people it's going to feel a little jarring. It's going to feel, it's a shift. But I think the people who would fight you on it, you're not giving them the opportunity. And that is the most easeful path forward, is there are certain people who I think you know, either it will be a fight or you would stress about it being a fight, whether it was or wasn't. You're doing a lot of mental gymnastics about this fight. And so to protect yourself from going down that mental gymnastics fight, make it about what you're doing rather than what they're doing. And go down this as like, I'm going to say my piece. And if they say anything that, like, I'm going to just, well, this is my feelings, so I'm going to go. Like, have a good exit line. And with this Knight of Cups reversed, you don't have to be overly kind, overly like flowery with your language to get them on your side. Like I said, keep your truth really simple. But it does look like you're going to be saying what you think. The most easeful path forward is saying what you think and then leaving it. They get to have their perspective. You don't have to stay and listen to their criticism. Or if their like line of questioning is making you feel insecure, that's not a situation you have to remain in. And so the most easeful path forward is knowing where your security is. Letting yourself open your mind to all the possibilities. Maybe this specific emotion you share with this specific person because they understand it. But this other space, it doesn't feel as safe there. You get a lot of criticism. You can make those choices for yourself. That's what boundary setting is for. And so, especially when you have very tender feelings, I think you have been completely shutting them out to protect them. And what I'm saying you are allowed to do instead is share them with people where you feel safe, starting with yourself. But shutting yourself out from what you're feeling doesn't seem like it's producing the peaceful path that you hoped it would. I think you thought, well, my feelings I keep feeling disappointed, I'll just shut my feelings down. Where instead it's like, okay, why are you disappointed though? Maybe the situation isn't for you. And it seems like you're ready to release a lot of those ties to that path that wasn't for you, the direction that honestly just took you away from your stability. Now it's time to claim your abundance. And you do that by paying attention to your feelings. And I like the moon right in the center of this. This can be kind of, and the moon's a Cancer-y card. Cute. Right in the center. Fun. You can still be a mystery. Like, you can still be protective over certain sides of yourself. I think what the cards are trying to show is that there's room for a little bit of both here. There's room to express yourself in certain areas. There's room for you to completely leave behind areas that aren't for you. There's room and spaces where you can just not fight and have a good time. And then it seems like you have other spaces where you can analyze and like produce really amazing, like, I don't know if you're creative, I don't know if you like whatever you put your hands on is how it's coming out, turns to gold. Whatever you put your passion into attracts a lot of people. And what's been happening is that people see that first bit of enthusiasm and they think, oh, I want to use that. And then you have fallen into a trap of people who overuse that and think of you more like a tool than a whole person with their own ideas. And so the most easeful path forward is taking that path back by just starting to speak your mind. And if it's clear that you can't speak your mind there, you shouldn't be there. So let's go through some goals that you should have. Oh, interesting. Oh, that makes sense. Nine of Wands, Knight of Wands. Nine and Knight of Wands. Okay, I've been saying it a lot, but if you feel comfortable with it, put your sun, moon, and rising sign in the comments, because I'm really curious to know the specific combinations we've got for people, because certain people I've been telling more restraint, and here it looks like less restraint. It looks like letting yourself go a little bit. So I'd be interested to know if, I think it was Gemini who got that Knight of Wands reversed, if we had any Gemini Cancers. Like, I'm just curious how that all comes together. But let me know how it resonates. Okay, so the very first goal that wanted to come out looks to be you want your defenses high enough that you can do what you want to do. So there's a little bit of that theme of self-protection that's been coming up through this whole reading. Is it seems like it would really help you to be able to lose control, to just like let yourself go. But the fear of what other people think gets so strong that like you stop yourself before they can even have a chance to stop you. And so I think what they're saying is like plant some privacy bushes in this mind of yours. Plant some, like build a wall. It can be a pretty wall so it doesn't feel like you're just blocked in. We're talking very visually. Metaphorically or literally, however it resonates. It seems like it would help you to have your defenses a little higher so that you can move with a little more freedom. So that might be a specific thing for you. If it's not, the way to make it specific is, what is it that you want to do that you keep stopping yourself from? And channel this into like a specific area. If you don't know the specifics, if it's hard to know what you want right now, just moving into a space where you can try it out. So maybe you want to like, I want to try something new this so often, or like, I want to go to a new place. I want to try a new hobby. And then keeping that as private as you need it to be so that you can try it out without that fear of judgment creeping back in. That's one goal. This next goal is, it seems like you want to be concerned less with abundance and less with abundance in a way that rest doesn't have to be a constant thing that you're seeking for. Ooh, okay, so that feels like you've been in a little bit of a rat race. You've been like very concerned with where every dollar is going, with like keeping on top of things. And it seems like in that need to keep on top of things, rest comes in as like a threat to it all. Even if you deserve the rest, it's time out of that optimizing. It's time out of um, like being on the ball. And so it looks like you're wanting to care less about the abundance of it all, so that rest doesn't feel so threatening. So that when you go to take a break, it's not like breaking the system down, it's part of the system. Rest is part of the system. You need to recharge. And so that might look like, okay, this hour of the day is mine no matter what. Or this day of the week, I get completely to myself. Protecting some of your rest time. And it looks like that's a larger goal to like watch your mentality, watch what's the things you let yourself obsess over. And then again, part of that is in the scheduling of it all. That's the other goal. I like that we have 10 and then 11 and they're both reversed. So it looks like you have been very concerned with fairness. And you've maybe even been someone to look to people who have hurt you, trying to like wait for their comeuppance. When are they going to get what's coming to them? And what that's given you is a lot of anxiety because they just remain in your head all the time. And so this goal really looks like freeing yourself from that spot, not worrying about them, and just living the life that you want to live. So since that seems to be reclaiming a mental space, maybe you add in some mental care. Maybe it's like, when you catch yourself thinking about it, you're going to go on a walk. When you catch yourself like, this could probably be like checking in on someone's social media just to see if they've posted or see how they're doing. Maybe you mute them, maybe you block them. Boundaries for yourself. Doesn't matter. That seems to be a big theme in your reading. It doesn't matter what they're doing. This is what you're doing. It doesn't matter what they think. This is what you want to do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if their feelings are hurt. That's not how you meant it, right? Like, you get to know where you're at. Which I do think is this last goal, which is you've been really blinded by some, and this keeps coming up in this collective, so you've been really blinded by some unfairness, some startling change, excuse me, in your own life, and it's made it hard to see where you want to go. It's made it hard to know and trust your own feelings because you keep being brought to places you didn't think you were heading for. And so a goal of this, yeah, really seems to be like continuing whatever work you've been doing to release it, keeping up on it. It's like you've got a certain routine down, you've got a certain, like maybe you have been going to therapy, whatever like process has been working for you, keep that up. And that's a goal to have. Keep up the processes that have been working for you because you have been progressing really fast. And so I think that's why it's like, okay, make it a plan to take care of yourself because you're going to be moving fast. Like, you want to move fast, so protect the road you're on from other people. It's like metered traffic. It's kind of what it feels like. Like, only so many people can be on the road at the same time. For you to feel comfortable. Yeah. Okay. Those are the goals. Tower on the bottom is saying you're looking for change. Change is one of the goals. It's all to change this so that it's more what you want. Okay. So with this last deck, before we get into those oracle cards, we'll check in on how are you doing according to your spirit team? What do they think of your progress? That's funny. The Emperor reversed came out at first. But your spirit team's like, no, it's fine. So maybe you've been feeling topsy-turvy. You've been feeling like you're not the same. Nothing's in your hands right now. Your spirit team would beg to differ. They think you've got a really good control on it. You're taking like these moments to just enjoy people. And I think that's really powerful. And more powerful than you're giving yourself credit for. Yeah, because they're kind of bringing up a question. Like, what's it all for? What's the point of the success you're going after? And like, you feel like a failure by what metric? Is it one that you even care about? Because to me, it seems like you value closeness, you value family, you value equal give and take, showing up for people, people showing up for you, doing favors for people. You maybe believe a little too much in the power of favors. And you're someone who's immensely capable of filling that role. And so your guides are saying, check in with this voice that's being mean to you, that's like talking down to you and saying that you're not enough. Not enough by who? Because if it's all for closeness, if it's all for experience, if it's all for savoring life, you're there. You're already there. And you're doing a beautiful job of it. If it's all for like having a good network, that network is like there for you. And it seems like there are burdens that you are allowing yourself to release now because that support system is there. That community is there. And so what to do differently, I think it's like because how you're doing is it's time to start talking to yourself like you are hitting your own goals, because you are. You wanted to feel closer to people, and people are closer to you. You wanted to have a community, and it's like, I don't know, it feels like maybe you had like a car breakdown or something, or like a small emergency, and people were there. That's different than before. I don't know that I can really say more to that. I think you've not been fair with the facts, and the facts are you're amazing. Because I said so. So it doesn't matter if you believe it right now. Seems like you're working towards believing it. Doesn't matter. It's still true. You're amazing. Let's get some oracle cards to round this out. So this very first deck is the Creativity Oracle. It talks about living a creative life. And this first card is Seed. Having the intention to grow like a seed and bloom is at the heart of creativity. Number 15. The seed card is a reminder that creative ideas start out small and delicate as a seed. Our designs and our babies Oh, sorry. Our designs are our babies, and they need to be kept safe and away from harsh realities and harsh people. Seeds can grow into tiny ground cover or giant sequoias and plants of every size in between. At this stage of your creative process, it's important that you concentrate on nurturing your basic idea, giving it a chance to grow and take hold, and avoid subjecting it to too much intense light or scrutiny. What did I say? Get rid of the criticism, especially by other people. Your voice too, though. Each seed holds its own secret, and the appearance of the seed card can mean that you should keep your idea secret. Could mean that you should keep your idea secret during its incubation period. Yeah, I like to talk about it like brainstorming rules. Like you're supposed to like yes and people in the brainstorming process so people don't feel discouraged to participate. I think that's where you need to be. Keep keep it secret, keep it safe. More Lord of the Rings. Okay, this one is the Literary Witches Oracle. So there are witches and these random materials, and they've got 3 keywords for each. And so this one's patience, repression, and lust. Yeah, and that's kind of what I was feeling. Is it feels like you've got to build up walls so that you can erupt, so that you can lose control, so that you can do it the way you want to do it. And this last deck, Auspicious Symbols, and they're lucky symbols from a bunch of different cultures. And today we've got. I'm gonna get better with my pronunciation, promise. Maniki Nico. Maniki Nico, I think. Use the energy of Maniki Nico to invite luck into your life. Pronunciation's hard for me. Okay. The Maniki Nico causing you to claim the gift of luck and good fortune. By attuning to this symbol, you can begin the process of bringing in fortunate qualities needed in your life now. How will it manifest and where it's needed to show up? How it will manifest and where it is needed to show up as the cat beckons you to reflect on specific areas. Invite the Maneki Nico to shine its message out of the right hand for money and good fortune into your business or career. The general energy and good luck will surround you and your livelihood. Yeah. Like I said, it really looks like you're like clearing out the things that don't belong. And not even clearing out, just keeping out the things that don't belong so that you can move towards the things that you want without being stopped. So yeah, protect your peace. Protect your little seedling. And you're doing a great job. I hope this helps. Hello, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Welcome. I'm just pulling you some cards as a general overview of what's been going on. Okay, so this looks like you've been writing out what feels like an unlucky streak. Um, you're trying to keep all the balls in the air. You're doing a really good job of it, actually, but it just feels like it's too much to hold. And so it's kind of broken you down a little bit in a way that's allowed you to set down some of the emotional walls that you've been dealing with. I think especially in terms of seeing yourself as like a powerful person with a journey. You're doing a really good job keeping hope alive in the face of what seems like really messy, hard emotions. And there's kind of this understanding that like even though I don't feel like enough, I know I am enough. Even though right now it feels like there's too much going on, I know I can get some clarity, I can get some space out of it. And ultimately that's where like the understanding for yourself and for your journey comes in that. We've got this Hierophant reversed right now, but it feels very tied to this Strength reverse, so you might be experiencing some seasonal depression or just depression in general. That's kind of been affecting your general outlook of life. And then it seems like it's a lot easier to see everything bad that's going on. All the like traps is what it feels like. So yeah, if I'm being honest, this looks like it looks bad now, but you're holding on to the hope that things are getting better. The cards seem to say things are about to get better. 9 of Swords and then the sun right under it, so positivity, right? Like when you wake up. It's just a bad night. And I think that's just all this is gonna be, is this stuff that's happening right now. It's big, it feels big, but it keeps being connected with cards saying that you're doing it. That, yeah, it's a lot to hold, but you're capable of it. So that's kind of the emotional landscape that we're working with here. And so since this is a Lunar New Year reading, we're going to go into with this next deck, what's the most easeful path forward, given that like messy, nuanced, complicated place to be in. What's the best path? What's the path that feels more worth it? And then we'll get into some goals to set as well. And if you prefer to see these without the shuffles, I'm going to be editing them down, probably not showing all of it, but shorter readings over on TikTok. Okay. Well, it does seem like your hurt feelings are needing to take priority, but you're the one that needs to take that on. It seems like, yeah, your ideal situation would have been to have like not had this tower fall, not to have had to face the wall that you were building up. And it looks like that whatever change came about, whatever big thing shifted, which is what the tower is all about, it seems to be something that you moved. You were like, yeah, looking at your plan forward, and especially the way you used to plan, the way you used to give away all of your time and energy to people too much. and seeing that that needed to change. If you were going to do something different, if you were going to be something different, you were going to have to change it and not do it the same way you did it before. And so it's like, yeah, you didn't want to have to change things. You didn't want to have to make the tower fall. If you like knew the tower would fall, you wouldn't have gone up there. But as soon as you saw it, you went to fix it, and that's why it's falling now. So, your hurt feelings seem to be leading a lot of your decisions right now, and I think that's smart, especially because we have Temperance reversed. Sorry, my mouth is so dry. Um, Temperance reversed is telling me that there's a lack of emotional regulation going on for you because these feelings just are getting so big, and they're reminding you of other times that you've been destabilized, and so it's really like triggering is the word. um but ultimately it looks like it's an opportunity for you to make some decisions for yourself, for an opportunity for you to have a say in the direction you want to go. Since things are getting restructured, talk about what the plan is that you would like. Since they are going to have to move around, see what boundaries you would like to have that maybe haven't been in place, places that you would like to like protect so you don't have to feel on the defense all the time. That's ultimately what boundaries are for, is to just draw lines for yourself so that you don't have to be resistant to things that you want to be welcoming to. And this idea of home is really destabilizing right now. And so there are going to be times where you just need to feel your feelings. There are going to be minutes where you just need to get out of your feelings because they're too much. And it's okay to show up in any of those different variations. That's what the Temperance card is all about, patience with yourself. And I've been saying this in other groups, I'm pretty sure, but like that large scale patience where you're going to take care of yourself today because you know it'll be better for you tomorrow. And so, yeah, if you're hurting today, let yourself feel it today. And it's okay to make your decisions from that place right now because it's all to protect yourself. You can come back into this big change when you feel a little more solid. And that's the most easeful path forward is, yeah, you're going through a lot of change. Keep doing the change. You can just do it a piece at a time. It doesn't have to be doing it all in one day. It can be like, okay, I'm just going, like, I don't know, if it were someone you weren't like talking to anymore or something, you could cut it back to like, okay, I'm only gonna, I don't know why I can't think of any examples, so I'll just not. Sorry. Getting redirected. Yeah. Okay. And like I was saying with you'll need to feel your emotions, that came out in this spread of like what's the most easeful path forward. You should be feeling your emotions. It will help the situation around you to feel those feelings. This 3 of Swords and 4 of Wands reverse, this is like heartbreak and betrayal. And the 4 of Wands, when it's upright, talks about like a coming together, a union. And so it looks like there might be some like breaking up, again, something to destabilize you that's just making you feel hurt. And so that's what's leading a lot of your choices right now. And you can add in that kind of patience where instead of condemning yourself for making a protective choice, you can just say, and I'm protecting myself. I'm going to take a minute because I deserve it kind of mentality. Why is this message sticky? Hard to get through. So, with all of that out, if we're living in a world where our emotions are okay, but we're not going to let it stop us from going after change, what goals should you have? Stubborn. Okay, so that's the Ten of Cups in the world reversed. And so there does seem to be a little bit of restructuring of what you call family cycles you've been wanting to close out for the community that you're in and around. So that might look like leaving a specific place. Maybe you have a specific goal to like be out of somewhere. But I think more than that, it seems like the place that you'll move into, the community that you're moving into. I like that this world card is very social too. Yeah, because it really looks like you're setting aside the thing that didn't work for the places where it's easy, and that one of your goals is to set that place that didn't work fully aside to embrace the space that does. Three of Wands on the bottom of the deck. It seems like a lot of these goals, similar to Taurus, are things that you have been doing, things that you've already been working on. So yeah, don't be surprised if this sounds like the stuff that you're doing. It's supposed to be confirmation to tell you that you're doing a great job. So first goal, embrace new community, set aside and close out the cycle of the community that wasn't for you, but you've already been doing. Goal 2 is let people help you get your needs met. Like I said, there might be some depression. That's been a common thread through these groups. It's winter. It's around. And it also seems like you're someone who overgives as like part of your love language. You really like to show up for people and like be enthusiastic and like good supporters, but also have a hard time believing that people will show up for you. And so right now, try it out. Just see who's willing to show up, who's willing to be there, and who's willing to hold up their end of the bargain. And that'll ultimately like give you that cushion so that you can get through this strength being zapped and ultimately find that strength again. So goal 2 is be more open to receiving, be more open to healing and getting help. That could even also look like maybe you're going into a different kind of therapy or on a different kind of medication. Take it how it resonates, but it seems like taking the help that's offered. Okay. Ooh. These are the cards we had out for what's the most easeful path forward. 3 of Swords upright, 2 of Swords reversed. So that came right back in here. So yeah, prioritizing your feelings. It seems like you can't see everything right now. You can't see through things quite as sharply as you usually do because you're blinded by all of this hurt and betrayal feeling. Also maybe not feeling chosen, not feeling like you have a say in this, maybe a little bit. And so your goal is to have a say. So that could look like, ultimately it just really comes down to you making the decisions for you and not for other people, whatever the decisions are. I'd keep it down to like really simple decisions, even like, what do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? And start there. Because a lot of this process is figuring out what you're wanting. And so it's important. So start small, and then you'll know what, like, getting to what you want a little better because you've tested it out in these small areas, and so it's easier to find it in the big ones. So that's a goal, is to maybe hear yourself again, be living up to your standards, making choices that are in line with what you want, something like that. Okay. This other goal seems more financial. You're looking for growth. This is a 4 of Pentacles to an 8 of Pentacles. But it's more about like career path growth than amount of dollars growth, because this is from fear to flow, like that. Going from a place of stagnancy, from a place of I don't have enough, to a place of like I've got enough projects to fill it. So it doesn't even need to be about the stuff you have, because you're doing the things you want to do. And so that really looks like shifting your mentality with your finances, with your energy, into, rather than thinking about what you don't have and about the not enough of it all, falling in love and getting like really into the flow of the things that are working for you, the things that ignite your passion. And I think that's ultimately how you're going to get this other goal accomplished, of like hearing yourself, of making decisions for yourself, is by following that curiosity, following that flow, and seeing where it can get you. For a lot of you, this is stuff that you've like wished for a long time ago, and they're now coming back around. So yeah, pay attention. But those are the goals that the cards think you should have. So with this last tarot deck, before I get into those oracle cards, we'll get into how your spirit team thinks you're doing. My words have been so bad in this group. Okay, we'll see. That was the 3 of Cups. So if it comes out again, what's for us? So what does your spirit team think of you and the progress step you're on? Any of that. For my Scorpios, Sun, moon, and rising. Yeah, they're what they're saying is right now to you it feels like this. It feels like I can't look at it. It's too much. It's too scary, too painful. I don't want it. And that's the mode that you've been in. And what they're kind of offering is two different alternatives because they're like, it's a little scary, but it'll only be scary for a minute. Yeah, it feels and is destabilizing. The tower reversed again. We've got sudden change based on the work that you're doing, based on the direction that you want to head. And I'm really big on progressions in my spreads, and I especially love this specific transition, this 16 to 17, this tower to the star. The tower has to fall for you to be able to even see the star. And where this tower represents structures falling, and then the star is hope, and that like guiding light moving you forward, you have to be able to step outside of the thing that was built to come back to that original dream, come back to that, like, what did you even want out of this? And so, since things are not stable, you can kind of lean into it a little bit. You can ride out the yeah, it's kind of like if you were about to like demo a house, you're not going to bother cleaning it. Just going to leave it there. And so the two paths that you can really go from here that your spirit team seems to be offering you is, since things are scary and you don't want to look at it, you have two paths. One is go into like a dreamland. Um, this is all metaphorically, but it's meant for whoever sees it, it's meant for you if you're understanding what I'm saying. So you can either go into this dreamland where you can go back to that, like, what drove you here in the first place, what brought you to this specific tower, what made you want to invest in this world. Come back to that spirit and just ride with that for a while. The other thing you can do is step into your power in a way that you are the leader, that you're the one that is in control and calling the shots, and you show up for your side of things and let people show up for their side of things without a lot of extra meaning to it. Uh, like the depth and like passion seems to be there, but I mean like extra burden and extra responsibility. Like if they're not there, it's not against you. And so your guides are really here to say that like it looks scary, again, it'll only be scary for a minute. And so if you need to keep distracting yourself, if you need to keep pushing yourself into like, I'm just gonna be having fun because I heard it's better to laugh than cry. If that's the case, that's perfectly fine. That will help you get through the change, is having fun with it. The other alternative is to really take lead of the change and direct it. This is what I want, and this is what I'm planning on getting. And it seems more out of the actions that you're taking, the direction you're heading, than like convincing people that that's what you're doing. It's just doing it. And either way you choose, your spirit team's going to be there for you, cheering you on, because I think it's ultimately leading you to the spiritual authority where you know that you can get through hard times, where they don't feel like impossibilities every time. It's just like, I've been here before. Okay. So I would also say, if you're going after this much change, if you whatever you've already done that's caused this chain effect of things falling down, like, your team's already impressed by you. Your guides are already like proud and honored to be a part of your existence because you're doing it. You're doing everything you need to do. You're doing it well. And if you can believe it, you can help bring that about even faster and easier. But the good things are coming to you regardless, it seems. So that's great news. So let's see what these oracle cards are. Resurrection. Consider a project or recall a person from the past to resurrect an idea. Things coming back around. Sorry. The resurrection card is an indication that at this stage of our creative process, we need to look past some methods that were either considered or actually tried, even if they were found inappropriate for that situation, and discarded. The incredible tapestry collage illustrations of our creativity oracle card have all been created with resurrected, recycled materials that rise up like the phoenix in this card image and live again as components of Amy's Worlds of Wonder. This card can also symbolize that what is to be resurrected can also be something that you have learned of, and not necessarily something you personally experienced. This card is also a reminder that living our life creatively is a resurrection of the pure artistic spirit that caused our younger self to wake up and be excited to be alive, and the prospect of making an impact in our lifetime. Like I said, connect back to that dream, connect back to the pure idea of what you were going after. What were the thoughts and feelings that led you here? And how can you go back to that? Or bring it through in a new way, in that like rebirth transformation way. And then we've got Flannery O'Connor. These are the literary. This is from the Literary Witches Oracle, and they have witches who are authors and witches materials, which are just random objects, but they each have 3 key phrases for each. Who are we? Reckoning with failure and redemption. That's also quite resurrecting. Like, okay, I'm just gonna go to this next one. Swallow. Fly high with grace. You are embodying greater love, light, and peace. This was 40 and this is 41. I think we had other fours. So, I don't know. They might be relevant to you. I'm in the wrong book. This deck is Auspicious Symbols. It's really good. It has different lucky symbols from a bunch of different cultures. Okay, the swallow flies in as an auspicious nature symbol for you today. Consider the immediate news that the swallow is showering you with love, peace, and good fortune. This symbol may also indicate that someone who has passed away recently is showing up with a message or to share that their journey to another realm is complete. Spirit animals may come in for a lifetime or a particular time to support your journey. Notice if swallow has arrived just when you were seeking connection or confirmation. Positive messages, luck, and good tidings are all flowing to you right now. So make the conscious decision to accept it. Allow the nesting of swallow to provide protection around you as you reach to claim exactly what you need. And that really goes back into what, like, that message coming out from your spirit guides in that last deck is, like, yeah, reach out to claim what you need. What was sorry. Allow the nesting swallow to provide protection around you right now. It's okay to get invested into the things that you want to get invested into. Follow your passion. And if your passion's hard to find, like, that should be your main project, is figuring out what is hurting your spirit and what could be helping your spirit. And it seems like transforming and moving through this painful moment with the confidence that you have gone through things like this before and can get through them powerfully. I think that'll really help you step into this next chapter where you can create more opportunities for yourself. Sorry, this message was a little slow coming out. I hope it helped.